Hello everyone, and today you're cooking with love, and I would like to start off by saying Happy New Year. And today we'll be cooking our lucky pot of black eyed peas for the new year. So as you see guys, I will be adding in some fresh herbs, a can of diced tomato, some spices, some garlic powder, some onion powder, a little Maggi pollo, some crushed pepper, some black pepper. I have some spice blend, which have some seasoning in it, and I'll be adding just a dash of some sugar that will be needed. So it's time to have two 16-ounce bags, guys. So I'm going to allow these beans to soak. So I'm going to wash them, and I'm going to go through them and pick through and see if there are any bad ones in there. If it is, we're going to take them out. And we're going to repeat this process because as you go through, you'll probably see a couple bad ones. You won't catch them all at one time. So guys, these beans are high in protein, and they're a good source of calcium. They have iron and potassium, and they also it's a good carb. Beans are very from the south. Not only are they considered a lucky bean, they're also good for you. So guys, as you see here, I am starting to go through these beans now. They are been soaking for a while. Just continue to kind of pick through them and make sure there aren't any bad ones in there. And that should not take like long, but you know, the longer you soak your beans, they help the process in cooking. So guys, I'm not sure where you guys are from, who's like tuning in. And let me just say, I am a country girl that lives in the city, in the north. I love my soul food. I was raised shelling peas and harvesting for the winter. Black eyed peas is one of them. Me and my siblings had to shell peas every summer for the winter. I didn't understand why my grandmother made us do this. Hated it, but I learned to appreciate the harvest of for taking care of us and for the winter. You know, if you have never shell peas, you are missing a part of your culture of knowing where these peas come from and how important they are. I didn't know if they were that important. Because I understand why we have black eyed peas every year. I mean, we had other peas as well, but black eyed peas, oh my goodness. We had bushes and bushes of, everyone had a bush of peas to shell. And I couldn't understand why. As a little girl, I was like, why we got to keep doing this? But guys, let me tell you something. These are 2 dry bags of beans. Nothing will replace those beans that we had to shell for my grandmother, and she would harvest those beans and we would put them in the freezer. And let me tell you, I never knew. Grandma never went to the store to buy a can of beans, or know that she go to the frozen section and pick up a bag of frozen beans. We had beans in our freezer because this is what we did in the summer. So I appreciate it now. I'm older now, and I know what it is. I'm gonna pass that down to my grandkids so that they appreciate knowing that, you know, where they come from and their culture. And you know, even if you aren't from the South, and there's something that you need to pass down to your siblings or your grandchildren, give it to them, because this is all you have, knowledge. And they won't get what you receive, what you have received. And they need to know they're a product of you, and you can only give them what you receive. So share that with your family. And you know, I mean, I have so many stories for my children and my grandchildren, to know that what they're going through is a fraction of what I've gone through, and I haven't gone through a fraction of what my parents have went through. And this is how you learn to appreciate what's around you. So back to this cleaning. I think I'm just about finished cleaning the turkey tails down. So after this process here, I think I'm ready to start my boil, where I'll be allowing them to cook for at least about approximate like a half an hour before adding my beans into them, because I allow those beans to soak at least 2 hours, guys. So I mean, it's totally up to you how long you want to allow your beans to soak, but the longer they soak, the better the process for cooking. So as you see here, I started my my pot, and I got them on medium high. I'm gonna drain these beans here, and I'm gonna let them sit and wait for the half an hour to incorporate those beans along with the vegetables that I'm gonna be adding. Okay, so just know I have a can of diced tomatoes that I'll be incorporating into my mix, which is really good, guys. You're gonna love, if you follow this recipe, you're gonna love the way those beans come out. And the key to it is the cilantro. I mean, use as much as you want of it, okay? It's not gonna harm it, but if you're not a cilantro person, if you don't like that taste, you don't have to have that. Just an added flavor for me. So if you feel that you want something else opposed to the cilantro, feel free, okay? So like I said, I'm adding these beans to the pot at this moment, and I'm gonna let them boil, and I'm just gonna keep them on a medium because I want them to boil. They're gonna cook for 2 hours. So I'm ready to start seasoning, and I'm gonna start with my spice blend. I'm gonna give it a few shakes because you need to season your pot to what you feel like. You almost need it to be, you always lightly season, but you're gonna wanna season it to make sure these are fresh beans, so you wanna make sure that those seasonings that you put in exactly what those beans are gonna be tasting like. So I have put some black pepper, I put some crushed pepper, a few shakes, guys. Like I said, you can always amp it up later. Just gonna add it in now. Some onion powder. Okay, we're gonna just give it a little couple shakes. All right. Gonna get everybody together here. All right. A little garlic powder. Okay. Like I said, these garlic powder and onion powder have no sodium. Great flavor though. Added flavor. Okay. I'm gonna give that a little stir before we start adding any more of the ingredients, just to get it to where we want it. Okay. So I'm just gonna put the top on it until I'm ready to add the other ingredients. So now I'm gonna put in 3 bouillon cubes, chicken bouillon cubes. Okay. A little Himalaya salt, a couple shakes. Like I said, keep it on the light seasoning. Okay. And guys, you gotta taste your food. You gotta stir and taste your food, because this is what it's gonna taste like. It's gonna change, but you at least have an idea what your dish is about to taste like, okay? And trust me, you can tell. You can tell if it's too much sodium, or some. You may have to add some more ingredients to your dish. So here I have the diced tomato, which is 1 can. Diced tomato, and I'm cutting in some onions, and I'm adding some yellow peppers. You're not gonna even see these things. They're gonna break down, so you're not gonna even know they're there. But they're gonna give it so much flavor, guys. So don't be alarmed of the vegetables, okay? Because they're gonna cook for about 2 hours. Remember, they're gonna cook for 2 hours, so all that's gonna disintegrate. So don't worry, okay? We're gonna have some scallions in here, some green pepper. Okay, some fresh garlic. We're gonna be adding in some cilantro. Now you can put as much of this as you want, okay? much as you want. Okay, 'cause this is where you get your flavor to these beans, the cilantro, which is a wonderful flavor. Guys, you love it. And if you don't like cilantro, like I said, you don't have to put the cilantro. But they will complement this dish. Totally, they will. So, guys, as we give this pot a couple stirs to begin its boil and process, we're going to add in just like 2 tablespoons of vinegar. And this is to help preserve your pot from spoiling. It helps keep you have your beans on the stove. A lot of people know about this, and if you don't be alarmed. You're not gonna taste it, but it will help keep your pot from spoiling as well. So we're gonna add some sugar, like a tablespoon and a half of sugar, and that is going to help boost up the ingredients that you have in there. That's going to give it a great taste. It won't be sweet, but it will definitely enhance the flavor. So as you see, guys, these beans have come to a boil and they're starting to break down. So they have a little more time to go. Okay, they've been cooking for about an hour. Okay. I've been checking on them, making sure they're not sticking. I'm not just walking away from an hour. I'm continually going to my pot just to make sure they are not losing my broth. So as you see, guys, my beans here are now breaking down, and I'm gonna let them cook just a little longer because I want them to break down just a little more. This could be the consistency that you want, but I'm allow mine to cook for another half an hour. But they've been cooking just about 2 hours, And this is why you have to keep checking. They're almost there though, trust me, they're almost there. And I'm just gonna let them cook just so that they break down just a little bit more, and you'll see what I'm looking for, okay? So as we're waiting for these beans to continue for the duration, but probably about a half an hour, we're gonna start my rice. I decided to make some cilantro jasmine rice, long grain, and I'm gonna make 2 cups of rice, okay? Because that will be enough for what I need for about a day or 2. Okay, I'm steaming my rice, which I'm washing it to take off some of that starch that builds up on the rice. You must wash your rice. Sometimes little particles float to the top of the top of the pot. Processing, you have to wash it. You have to wash your food. So I'm gonna do this process of washing just a couple times just to make sure I feel comfortable, knowing that I've gone through and make sure there's nothing in the rice, okay? So, you can make your rice to stay in your pot. You put it in a rice cooker if you want. But this is a southern style of making rice, the way I was raised. And the reason I'm making it is because I like the way it comes out, texture of the rice. And the process is to wash it and boil it. I'm gonna add like 6 cups of water. You can put 6 cups of water will be fine. I'm gonna add a tablespoon of salt, and you're gonna cover your rice. Make sure the water covers your rice, and you're gonna let that come to a boil, and you're gonna let that cook halfway, in between, like an in-between cook. And then you're gonna rinse that in the pot that you plan to keep the rice in, and which is a double boiler. This pot has like little holes on the bottom, if you're not familiar. So And then you top it up and you'll just keep that on medium, high, and you the boiler, the bottom boiler, you'll put half a pot of water in that, just so that it steams the rice properly. And you kind of want to keep checking that to make sure your fire. If you're not familiar with that pot, make sure you lift that top pot up, and to make sure that when it's boiling, it's not boiling out. Because if that pot is burnt, it's going to change the taste of that rice, and it's going to taste burnt. So you don't want that. So you want to try to make sure you keep an eye on, if you decide to do this process the way I'm doing it, so that you don't burn it. It's something that you got to watch over, and you don't want to over cook your rice as well. So you want to cook your rice no more than about, I say about 30 minutes, okay? And jasmine rice doesn't take that long, so it has a grain that if you overcook it, it'll become mush. So just be careful, and you don't have to use jasmine rice. It just have a great fragrance of taste, but it's not necessary for this dish. I mean, I'm using jasmine rice, so decide which one that you want, and go from there. Okay. So as you see, I removed the pot of the rice from the stove, and I'm now rinsing that excess starch that boiled off the rice, and I'm rinsing that off in that same pot, in the pot that is going to be steamed in. Okay, so I'm just going to take some cool water, not completely cold, but it's kind of like in between warm, and rinse it so that that starch can release from the rice and drain off. All right. So here I have it on the stove, and I'm gonna top it up, and I'm gonna let it cook for about 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna check on it. Okay. Here we have our New Year's black-eyed peas and jasmine rice. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Happy New Year, and I hope you have a prosperous one. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share my video. Thank you for the support.